Last Sunday, I read you some words from The Big Fisherman, where the Pope in the story said, yesterday I met a whole man. It is a rare experience, but always an illuminating one. It costs so much to be a full human being. And there are very few who have the courage to pay the price. One has to abandon altogether the search for security and reach out to the risk of living with both arms. One has to embrace the world like a lover and yet demand no easy return on love. One has to accept pain as a condition of human existence. One has to court doubt and darkness as the cost of knowing. One needs a will stubborn in conflict, yet always apt to the full acceptance of every consequence of living and dying. So across the days of Holy Week, we moved from Palm Sunday to last evening, where we looked again at the best thing within the human being. And we said, there it is. In times of coping with life and coping with stress, living through our pain and facing our death, what is the best thing we need? It is courage. Courage. And today we know that we are facing Good Friday, where the reality of human violence and destructiveness is fully portrayed. But more than that, through the human violence and destructiveness, we see a man suffer with courage, becoming a model for the way we might live our life and become the full human being. It means becoming painfully alive to the loneliness and the aloneness of human existence, painfully alive to the aloneness of the pain of our existence, to the aloneness of solitude and suffering. We become painfully alive to our own inadequacy, to the flight of human support that we need so much in times of our deepest predicaments. We become painfully alive to the way our own resources and our self-confidence and our self-assurance can suddenly abandon us. We become painfully alive to the death or decline or the demoralization of the human spirit. Time was when life was fully alive. Time was that life could be celebrated, full of anticipation. But that affirmation and that optimism can deflect our awareness of how harsh life can be and how we block the flow of life, or how indeed the flow of life can be itself blocked from us. And we become carriers of anxiety, carriers of negativity, carriers of destructiveness. So the realities of life then gather around us, gather inside us. The sheer demands of life challenge us. For a time, they challenge us. And then it seems the demands can become too much for us. The fact is that we can become painfully alive to the loss of our aliveness, to that pervasive, insidious experience of soul deadness. And so what can we do? What does Good Friday say to us? Because if ever there was a day within the Christian year where the human predicament is so dramatically portrayed, it is on Good Friday. Good Friday says we can come through our heavy times of feeling dead inside. It says we can rise above that feeling of deadness in the surrounding world. Good Friday says we are to take control of our stormy and strong anxieties. It says we are to intercept the powerful forces that would have us stranded between one post and another. It says we are to transcend all that way of coping with so many anxieties that the many overwhelm us. We are rather to take them and place them over there where they might be managed at this point in time. Good Friday says we can reorganize our external resources and refocus on the strengths of our internal resources. We can reconfirm the faith that we are accepted in spite of everything. Good Friday tells us that. Through it all, we can do a great deal to convey to people that above all else, we are assured that we are accepted. And as we become alive to that, alive through all our painful awareness, we can do a great part to recover some of the faith and strength of Good Friday. We can be fully absorbed in trying to make something of the crucifixion of Jesus 2,000 years ago, that we can so easily pass over the large-scale loss of human life in our time, the blocking of the human spirit, the deadening of the human spirit, the flattening of the human spirit, the loss of the best part of the human spirit. And when we lose contact with the vitality and the vibrancy of the human spirit, where do we turn? Good Friday says we turn inwards for a moment, and then we turn outwards to the great symbols and strengths given to us through the ages, through the faith. The journey or the process to reach a new way of being can be a very powerful and painful journey. We can become painfully alive to all that would oppress us, but we can also become painfully alive to the hope, a new way to live. Painfully aware of the call of life, of the courage that is given to us in life, the courage to live and to live strongly. Good Friday is a dying day, but Good Friday also points us to a day to regather strength in the waiting, to refocus faith for the future that waits us. So Jesus himself was always pointing to something beyond himself. And even in this drama of Good Friday, there is a pointing beyond the pain and the suffering and the destructiveness and the violence, pointing beyond it to a better way to be human, to a better human being. So Jesus walked the road of all of us, and finally walked the Via Dolorosa.